Hello friends, welcome to GCA. Hope you all are doing good. So today the topic is 2 plus 2 dialogue. So this is a very important topic because questions related to this can be asked in personal interview. This can be a lecturer topic also, and you can even use this content in India's relations with various countries. So this is going to be a short and crisp video. So again, without wasting any time, let us start. So starting with the basic information about 2 plus 2, let us first discuss why it is called 2 plus 2 dialogue. So 2 plus 2 basically means two ministers from the ministries of defense and foreign from both the countries. They meet each year to discuss common issues and to forge better ties, because in order to develop a stronger, more integrated strategic connection in a world that is changing quickly. So this kind of mechanism help both the countries to better understand and appreciate each other's strategic concerns, and also the concerns accounting for political consideration on both the sides. US is India's oldest and most important 2 plus 2 partner, as the first summit took place in 2018, and in 2019 2 plus 2 dialogue took place between India and Japan, and later in 2021 it was expanded to Australia and Russia. Now let us discuss in brief the timeline of 2 plus 2 dialogues. So talking about the very first summit that was held in 2018 between India and US. So this summit took place on September 6 between two ministers from both the countries from the Ministry of Defense and Foreign, and the meeting between both the countries reaffirmed US designation of India as a major defense partner. India was granted a license-free exports, re-exports and transfers under the license exception strategic trade authorization. And India and US, they also signed a historic communication compatibility and security agreement, that is COMCASA, which further facilitates interoperability between militaries and the sale of high-end technology. The summit of 2018 resulted in both the sides beginning negotiations for the Industrial Security Annex, which would allow US defense firms to sell military equipment to Indian side. Then both the nations, they committed to further up their efforts to combat issues like terrorism, promote economic cooperation and ease the peace process in Afghanistan, and also to support the construction of 6 nuclear power stations in India. Then talking about the 2019 summit, it was also held between India and US, and this was the second 2 plus 2 dialogue. The meeting revolved most of the areas of concerns from the previous year. The ministries, they welcomed the quadrilateral dialogue that was held between India, US, Australia and Japan, and also the meeting resulted in both the countries signing the Industrial Security Annex, which would allow 114 fighter jets to be sold to India. Then both the countries were still negotiating the final details of signing the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement for Geospatial Cooperation Agreement. Then talking about the third summit that took place in New Delhi in October 2020. So both the countries, they announced the signing of Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, and the US also voted to support India's territorial sovereignty and liberty, which was basically a response to China during the Galwan Valley attack. And also the US secretary described Chinese Communist Party as a no friend to democracy. And both the countries also undertook some steps in combating the COVID pandemic. Then in 2021, no summit took place. Now let us discuss the most recent 2 plus 2 summit that took place in November 2023. So the 2023 summit discussed a lot of issues, including the Indo-Pacific security, Israel-Hamas conflict in Ukraine, and in emphasizing the increasing importance of the bilateral partnership for joint defense efforts and global supply chain securitization. So talking about the major point of discussion, it was related to the ongoing conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine. During the meeting, both the countries, they jointly declared support for a political solution to the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Then both the countries further called for a humanitarian pause and the continuation of diplomatic coordination with key partners in the region. Then regarding the war in Ukraine, Both the countries similarly cited mutual concern over the war's emerging humanitarian crisis. Then also the political developments in Afghanistan and Bangladesh also came up in the meeting, and the ministers from both the countries they jointly urged Taliban to preserve Afghan human rights and refrain from using Afghan territory for further terrorist activity. Then talking about the other highlights of 2023 summit, a lot of defense deal took place between both the countries. India and US they aimed to collaboratively co-develop and co-produce defense system, and the ministries also looked forward to the finalization of SOSA, that is security of supply arrangement, which is a key priority in the roadmap which will further integrate the defense industrial ecosystem of both the countries while strengthening supply chain resilience. Then both the sides reviewed the progress of India US defense industrial ecosystem, that is Indus X, which was launched in June 2023, which is aimed at expanding the strategic technology partnership and defense industrial cooperation. Then talking about the major key issue, which was membership in combined maritime forces, that is India's decision to become a full member of combined maritime forces. Then both the countries shared a focus on maritime security in the Indo-Pacific region, acknowledging the importance of safeguarding the vital sea lanes and promoting stability. Then both the countries welcomed the rapid progress made under the US-India initiative on ICET, that is the critical and emerging technology, to build science and technology and critical technology value chain collaborations in both commercial and defense sector. Now let us talk about in short 2+2 dialogue with other key countries. So talking about India and Japan, the first summit took place in November 2019, and this meeting was seen as a deepening of relations between India and Japan in the light of mutual tension with China and concerned with China's assertiveness in expanding not only its influence but also control in regional issues. Then talking about the 2+2 dialogue between India and Australia. So the first summit took place in September 2021 in New Delhi, where both the countries shared common ground with the US and Japan over China's ambitions, and also both the countries agreed to further expand cooperation by holding the summit once every 2 years. Then talking about the 2+2 summit between India and Russia. So the first summit took place along with the 21st annual summit between both the countries in December 2021 in New Delhi. So in this summit, an agreement was reached by both the sides that India will be producing more than 600,000 Kalashnikov rifles, and also a military and technological pact was signed, and both the countries they pledged to boost the annual trade to $30 billion by 2025. Then finally talking about the 2+2 dialogue between India and UK. So the first summit was held last year in October, where the major areas were trade, investment, defense, key technologies, and also in the view of common goal for the peace, stability and prosperity. And both the countries pledged to focus on a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific Ocean. And in the coming years, the 2+2 dialogue will be expanded to other major partners of India. So this was all about 2+2 dialogue. My focus was to make this video as short as possible to give a maximum amount of content in shortest amount of time. So this is all about today's video. I hope this video will be helpful for you for your upcoming interview. Till then, keep learning, keep supporting and keep preparing. Thank you and best of luck.